Sis, can I ask you a question? Come, sis. Huh? Come, Cross. May I ask you a question quickly? Listen, I'm from Warsaw, sis, in the West Midlands. I won't be here long. I'm only here for a few minutes, right? And I don't know, the Lord just moved me, the Lord moved my spirit to call you, sis. You know what I'm saying? So come talk to our brother. You understand? How you doing? You alright, sis? Can I ask you a question, sister? Just one question before you go, right? Where are you from? Where are your parents from?
Dominica.
Okay.
And my mum was born in England, but her dad was Jamaican.
So dad was Jamaican, right? So, have you ever read the Bible before? Little bits of it?
Little bits.
So, would you say you're born in like a Christian religion or Muslim?
No.
More Christianity, right?
Yeah, more.
So, because is Jamaica in the Bible? Dominica, can you find Trinidad, Barbados? Are they there?
I'm not really the person to ask.
It's not there. I can tell it's not there, sis. But the question.
I don't want to act like I know.
I know. Listen, I like your honesty. That's very good. You're humble, sister. I like your spirit. But guess what, sis? The nations of the Bible, they're still here. Did you know that? The 18 nations in Genesis, their offspring are here. So guess what? Us here, we do come from one of these nations in the Bible. The question is, sister, do you know which one? And based on what you just told me, you're from one of the greatest nations of the Bible. You're from a nation that God chose above all the nations to be his people.
That's
Did
right.
you know that? And they spend billions and millions and trillions to keep that information from the people that they enslaved or brought to the Caribbean islands as captives. Did you know that? No one ever told you that, sis, right? So do you know that you're actually royalty, sis? You come from a royal bloodline. The Bible calls you a princess or a daughter of Zion. Has anybody ever called you a princess or a daughter of Zion before, or royalty, sis?
No.
Hey, so I'm saying, sister. But let me give you one scripture. Watch what God said about his chosen people, right? Give me Deuteronomy 7 verse 6. Watch this, sis. Watch this. One scripture for your sister, yeah? What's your name, sister?
Katie.
Katie. Archangel. Good to meet you, Katie, right? All praises, sister.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6.
What's this?
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Go on.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So God chose the children of Israel. Have you heard of the children of Israel before, sis? The 12 tribes of Israel? The Israelites? He said, I chose you to be a special people unto myself. Watch this.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
And I chose you to be above all nations on the face of the earth, ruling the earth in righteousness, with God's commandments, with the laws of God. No robbing, no stealing, no killing. You understand? No backbiting, no adultery. You understand, sis? If God's laws were in the earth today, sis, we would see a beautiful planet. No backbiting, no backstabbing. You understand, sis? So God chose his people and gave them laws that they should govern the earth by, but something terrible happened. They disobeyed him. When you read Deuteronomy, you read further on, they disobeyed him and God put curses on them or judgments because he's the nation that they chose. Give me Joel 2 verse 27 and then you can go, sis, right? You know what color is Christ? What color is Jesus? The most famous man that walked the face of the earth. You know what color he is?
Yeah.
According to the Bible? Hey young man, you alright? Oh, crazy man. What's this? What's this? I'm gonna come to you in a second. What's this, sis?
Joel chapter 2 verse 27.
Hold on, young man.
And he shall know that I am in the midst of Israel.
So I am in the midst of Israel. This is God, right? Watch.
And that I am the Lord your God.
Possessive pronoun. I am the Lord, your God.
And none else.
And nobody else is. But I thought God was the God of all nations. Oh, sis. Oh, sister. What we've been taught and what we read is two different things. And a lot of us don't read the Bible. So we only believe what the pastor tells us in church. And they lie to us. Have you got any questions, sis, that may have plagued you concerning the Bible? Like if I ask you a question, young men, may I ask you a question? And I'll ask you as well, sis. What color is Jesus? White. You say he's white? What color do the world say he is? White. Sis, what color do the world say he is?
They say it's white.
They say he's white. Now, sister, if he is Caucasian, and we're not being racist, because he's a famous man, the book's all about him. There should be a description of him in the Bible, right? They did put a real man on the cross. We're going to read the description of Christ, all three of you. After we read it, you tell me if this is a Caucasian man or if this sounds like a black man. Watch this.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 1.
What's this?
the revelation of Jesus Christ.
So we're going to reveal the image of Christ. No one's ever taught you this. It's in the last book of the Bible, but they will never read it in church. Verse 10.
Verse 10.
Watch this.
I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day,
The Lord's day is the Sabbath day. Today, sis, right? It's the Lord's Sabbath day. Watch this.
and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet, saying,
So John was on the island of Patmos, right? He was there as a prisoner. He heard a loud voice behind him, like the sound of a trumpet, right? Very loud, right? So John heard this voice behind him. Watch this.
saying, I am Alpha and Omega.
Come on.
The first and the last.
Come on, watch this.
And what thou seest,
Now what you see, John, this is very important. What you see,
write in a book.
put it in a book. You understand? What you see concerning me, write it in a book. Do you know why, sis? Because in the future, his image was going to be changed. So it had to be recorded, right? Now, let's see what John saw. Read on.
Verse 14. Verse 14. His head and his ears were white like wool.
Now, sis, young men, the first description of Christ, he said his hairs, that's the hair on his head and his face, was white in color, but woolly in texture. You see how my hair is white, sis? Christ was completely white, but woolly in texture. Which people on planet Earth have a woolly, textured hair? Okay, very good, young man. A student. Black people, we're the only people that have this hair. Have you never not questioned? Our hair defies gravity. It stands up. Very unique. The other nations have straight hair. So Christ had white, woolly hair. You call it an afro today, right? Read on.
As white as snow.
Completely white. Read on.
And his eyes were as the flame of fire.
He says his eyes were like the color of fire. Why? Because he drank wine in moderation, right? Now, read on.
And his feet
Now, this is the color of his skin. His feet,
like unto fine brass.
what color is brass? B-R-A-S-S. What color is brass? B-R-A. It said his feet was like unto fine brass, the color of brass. So what color is brass? Close. Have you ever seen a 2-penny piece? A 2-pence piece? Yes. Brass is a derivative of brown. All right. So now that we know he's a brown man, guess what? Because we're not actually black. We're just different shades of brown. All right. Let's see what shade of brown he was. Read verse 15 again.
And his feet
Watch this.
like unto fine brass.
Come on.
As if they burned in a furnace.
He was so dark, he looked like he was burned in a furnace. If you burn anything, young man, my sister, what color does it turn eventually? Okay, now, from the two images that we have here, which image is closer to the text that we've just read? Which image is closer? Okay, that's it. Simple. You can pose this question to a 5-year-old. They will answer you that the one on the right is more closer to what we're reading in the Bible. Because if Christ was a Caucasian man, you should have read his skin was white like milk. His eyes were blue like the sky. You understand? And his skin was like chalk or something. But you don't read that, sis. You don't read that, young man. So the question is, my sister, who is this? Who is this imposter that we've just read? His name is Cesare Borgia, the son of Pope Alexander VI of Rome. And in the 14th century, known as the Renaissance period, the Caucasians began to be a power in the earth. You understand? He allowed Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci to paint the image of his son, and they went and started conquering the dark nations and conquered them and forced this religion, this image on them with a religion called Christianity.
Right.
You understand, sis? But according to the Bible, Christ is a black man.
That's right.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today.